Hi, my name is Bob Mayhew and I'm a 19-year veteran with GTAC. In this video I'm going to show you how to use Netsight Inventory Manager to upgrade firmware on devices. First thing that we want to do is go to Tools, Authorization Device Access, and Profile Credentials. We want to make sure that the profile that we have set up for our devices has a max access credential that has write access to the device. Once we do that, we'll go to Tools, Options, and then Services for Netsight Server. Here we want to make sure that the TFTP directory is set up properly and that the IP address is properly assigned for the Netsight server device. Next, we'll go to the TFTP transfer settings. This is going to tell us where we need to place the image files on our Netsight server. And notice that the directory is under the TFTP root directory path as well. Okay, once we have that information, we'll just start the firmware upgrade wizard. You can do that by going to Tools, Wizards, Firmware Upgrade Wizard, right-clicking on the device, same menu pick, or we can just click this button. From here, we can select multiple devices. Doesn't have to be the same device type. We can do N3s, E1s, B5, C3s, doesn't matter. We can select those devices, and on the next screen, we'll be asked to assign the specific firmware for those devices. So we'll click Next. If I had multiple devices selected, they would be listed on the left-hand side. And every time I click on a new device, say like a B5, the firmware images would show up for that. In this case, I'll do a Show All Images. I don't see any more. I know I have some that are actually on the Netsight server, but I didn't actually go to the Firmware Management tab and refresh that. I can do that here by clicking the Refresh Images button. And notice it actually lists out every firmware for every device type that I have an image for. What I'll do is I'll just select this firmware image for the device, and I'll assign it to the device type. I can also assign it to a device family if I wanted to. If I had multiple, like a stack series, and I wanted all the stacks to be on the same version of firmware, I could do that as well. I'll click Next. This is where we actually start the firmware upgrade. I can schedule that by clicking on the Schedule button and using this calendar and setting a time and a date for that. I'm not going to do that at this time. What I'll do is I'll just click Start to actually push the firmware out. What's going to happen is if there's a firmware image that's already on the system that's not being used, it's going to be deleted so that there's space for the new firmware image to be moved up there. And once that process is done, you'll actually see the progress bar starting to climb up, indicating that the firmware image is actually being moved out there. And once the firmware image is actually up there, we have the option to either close it out of the firmware upgrade wizard without doing a reset of the device. A reset of the device will be required in order to put the new firmware actually active on the system. Right now, we're just waiting for the device to give us that the image has been successfully uploaded and saved to the switch. We'll get a Operation Complete message here. Once we get that, we'll actually ungrade these buttons at the bottom. And we have that. So we can either finish that without going through the reset wizard and run the reset wizard at a later time, or we can just click Next. From here, it'll show us all the devices that will support a reset via an SNMP. From here, we can once again select this button to do a timed reset at a specific time. What will happen is we'll do an SNMP set out to the device with the number of seconds that it's going to take to reach that time, and what will happen is the device itself will count down until it reaches 0, and then it will do a reset. If we leave this window open, we'll be able to actually abort that. If we close the window, we won't be able to abort that unless we actually use a flex view within Netsight console to actually kill that. And what we can do is just click Start, and that'll actually force the reset of the device. I'm not going to do that at this time. Thanks for watching, and please call one of our global GTAC 800 numbers for this or any other Netsight inventory questions. Feel free to ask for me. If I'm available, I'll be more than happy to assist. More information is available at our website, interasys.com/support.